Hey there, and welcome to another trip report. Today I'm flying on the inaugural winter 2023 service of AC589, Air Canada's Nonstop Toronto to Honolulu flight, which is a seasonal service that they only operate from early December to early April. Better yet, I'll be doing it in Air Canada's Signature Class, which is their business class product on international and certain domestic routes. This 10-hour flight is Air Canada's longest flight within North America and is served by one of their Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners. I've just arrived at Toronto Pearson International Airport's Terminal 1 off of an Air Canada flight from Montreal, where I have a 3-hour layover during which I need to transfer to the Transborder gates used for US-bound flights, clear security screening, and pre-clear US customs. There's lots of helpful guidance throughout the terminal to tell you which gates to go to for domestic, international, and transborder flights, with US-bound flights departing from the F gates. From the domestic area, there's a dedicated walkway above the gates to allow travelers to pass between the different terminal sections with ease. Heading towards the F gates, it's about a 7-minute walk from the domestic area to reach the US departure security checkpoint. In total, it took 10 minutes to pass through security and then US immigration, and I'm now heading to the Air Canada Transborder Maple Leaf Lounge. This lounge is open to travelers in Signature, Business, or Premium Rouge, as well as Aeroplan 35K members or higher, and Star Alliance Gold members. After checking in at the reception desk, let's take a quick walking tour. The lounge is quite long as it wraps along the edge of the building with windows all along one side. Starting at one end, here we have a self-service bar counter with beer on tap and self-serve wine and spirits. There's also a coffee machine and a fridge with soft drinks, juices, and water. At this end of the lounge, there's a business center with desks for getting work done, and it's nicely isolated from the louder parts of the lounge. Beginning our walk to the other end of the lounge, there's lots of seating, but nearly everyone is filled. In this area, there's a screening room currently showing FIFA World Cup games and an enclosed children's room. Continuing our walk past reception, there's tons more seating over here, though again, most is filled, and this area also houses the food buffet counters. On offer today, we have soup and chili, salads, veggies and dip, sandwiches, and tortilla chips with guacamole, salsa, and sour cream. There's a pasta dish, as well as beef meatballs and lo mein. Overall, a good range of offerings and more than I expected. There's also another beverage station here with the same offering as the counter at the other end of the lounge. And for dessert, some brownies and chocolate chip cookies. Arguably the quietest seating area of the lounge is the isolated part at the very end, further past the buffet counters. On the whole, the lounge is huge, but not the most relaxing at this hour simply because it's so busy. After spending nearly 2 hours in the lounge, it's 2:30 p.m. now and I'm heading down to my gate. My flight is scheduled to start boarding at 2:45 p.m. from gate F67, about a 5-minute walk from the lounge. There's a good range of options in the terminal space, including grab-and-go food, sit-down restaurants, and duty-free shopping. This section of the terminal isn't the most interesting from a design perspective, with a fairly bland color scheme, though I do appreciate the high ceilings, which make it feel super spacious. Gate F67 is midway down the pier, housing the US and international gates, with the international area at the head of the pier and accessed via an overhead walkway. F67 itself is a swing gate, meaning that it can be used for either international or US-bound flights, depending on the time of day and demand. Right now, it's closed off at the international end and being used for US flights. The gate area is very busy, as this 298-seat aircraft is expected to be very full today. Taking a look at the aircraft taking me to Honolulu this afternoon, parked over at gate F65, we have a 5.5-year-old Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner that was delivered new to Air Canada in June 2017 and is sporting the airline's new livery. Air Canada has 29 787-9s in their fleet, with an additional 3 aircraft on order for delivery starting in 2023. Boarding is getting underway right on time, starting with Zone 1. Air Canada boards their aircraft by assigned zone number, with Zone 1 for business class and Aeroplan Super Elite members, Zone 2 for Premium Economy and all other Aeroplan Elite status members, and Zones 3 and up for economy passengers without status. Stepping on board the aircraft at the forward entry door and turning right, we're now in the 30-seat business class cabin. The seats are in a 1-2-1 configuration spread across 8 rows, with each seat having direct aisle access. I'm booked in seat 7K for today's flight, which is a window seat on the right side of the aircraft in row 7. Each seat is a pod complete with an entertainment screen, storage, and the ability to convert into a fully flat bed. The seats have a clean, sleek appearance, and the color palette in the cabin is simple, albeit rather monochrome. For the 2 seats down the center of the cabin in each row, there's a fixed partition separating them. I love how private these seats are, and a big contributor to that is the fact that every seat faces away from the aisle, such that you really can't see anyone else when you're seated. In terms of cabin baggage storage, there is space under the seat in the footwell, but also tons of space in the huge overhead bins. Taking a look at what was provided at the seat when we boarded the aircraft, on the seat itself we have a set of bedding, including a pillow, mattress pad, and blanket. On the ledge to the right of my seat, we also have a set of noise-canceling headphones for use with the entertainment system. Unfortunately, no amenity kit is provided. Exploring some of the areas of this seat, on the right wall just below the ledge there's a control screen and recline buttons, and beneath the side ledge itself there's a hidden compartment which stores the remote control for the entertainment system, along with the headphone port for connecting to the entertainment system audio, and a USB 3.0 port and AC power outlet for charging your devices. Taking a look at the control screen, here you can control the lighting in the seat, request service from the cabin crew, and adjust various seat comfort settings. In the lighting menu, we can control the dimmer of the windows, the lighting in the seat footwell near the footrest, and the lighting on the overhead panel. Also on the overhead panel, there are adjustable air vents with 2 vents for my seat. In the service section, you can display messages for the crew, as well as call an attendant. In the comfort section, you can adjust the massage function of the seat, lumbar support, or firmness of the mattress. And in the control section, you can adjust the recline position of the seat and put the seat into fully flat mode. Directly in front of the seat, we have an entertainment screen, which we'll check out after takeoff. Below the screen, we have the tray table for the seat, with a latch on the underside that allows you to pull it out and slide it along its mounting rails, with a couple different latch positions. When extended, the table is very sturdy and flips out to double the size, giving you tons of surface area. In the space underneath the entertainment screen and tray table where your legs go, there's a footrest, and as you can see, the legroom in these seats is very impressive, as at my height of 5'10", I can barely reach the footrest when the seat is in the upright position. On the left side, there's a pocket which could be good for storing your book or a small laptop, and on the right side, there's a small indented area for placing something, and we have a pocket with the provided reading materials, which include the safety information card for the Boeing 787-9, along with a couple air sickness bags. On the pod sidewall to the right of my seat, we have a reading light which pops out for use, and along the top of the wall in front of the seat, we have a small notch for hanging your coat. On the outside edge of the seat next to the aisle, there's a leather padded armrest that rises upwards at the push of a button, and under this armrest is a small cubby for storing things. After everyone had settled into their seats, the crew came through and handed out water bottles to each passenger and menus for the in-flight service. On this afternoon flight, the main meal is served shortly after takeoff, followed by a second light meal prior to landing. The Signature Class menu has a separate card for alcohol with a selection of red and white wines, beers, and other spirits and liqueurs. For the first meal, there's an appetizer, 4 different main meal options, and cheeses and dessert. For the main, there's veal in sage and lemon sauce with pasta, chicken with leek sauce and potatoes, cod with arrabbiata sauce and rice, and ravioli with mushroom sauce. For the second service, there's the choice of either chicken tangine with pasta or vegetarian paella, each served with an appetizer and dessert. If you're like me, you'll have studied the menu and made your decision beforehand, as it's available through the flight status section of the Air Canada app. The crew came through and took everyone's order for the first meal just prior to pushback from the gate.
Safety is our top priority. Please take a moment to watch our safety procedures video. At this time, headsets connected to a portable electronic device. Information, please refer to the safety features card located in your seat pocket or magazine rack.
Welcome aboard. aboard Air Canada.
With a minor 15-minute delay, we're now pushing back from the gate and getting ready to taxi to runway 23 for departure.
The illustrated card in your seat pocket or magazine rack.
Si la pression de la cabine change, un masque à oxygène ou une langue tombera du ballon au-dessus.
As we continue our climb away from Toronto, there are some technical issues being discovered with the entertainment systems throughout the aircraft. It appears that none of the screens are working, with a system not available message displaying. In addition to that, the in-seat lighting and certain functions through the seat control panel are not working, as well as the onboard Wi-Fi. The crew are working on the issue, but people are becoming a little uneasy about how they're going to spend the next 10 hours.
Might take some time, and the captain is in contact with the maintenance on the ground to see if there's any way.
In the meantime, let's go check out the business class lavatory. There's one lavatory reserved for business class passengers located at the front of the aircraft, and another two in the galley between premium economy and business that are shared between the two cabins. The lavatory at the front of the business cabin is surprisingly small and reminds me more of those in the back of economy class. Nonetheless, it's clean and well lit. Back at my seat, there's still no progress with the entertainment systems. Taking a look instead at one of the unique features of the 787 Dreamliner, the windows on these aircraft are equipped with adjustable dimmer technology to allow different levels of lighting. The dimmer can be controlled from the entertainment screen when it's working, from the control panel at each seat, and from a button below each window. About 30 minutes after takeoff, the cabin crew came through with hot cleansing towels prior to beginning the in-flight service. They then pulled out the tray table and laid a tablecloth at each seat, and followed that with a bowl of nuts and a drink. Finally, after an hour of troubleshooting and resetting the systems, the screens are coming back, and all the other functions of the seat seem to be in working order. Let's take this opportunity before the first meal service to see what's available, starting off by using the remote, which is touchscreen controlled. Getting into the system, we have on-demand content available, which includes movies, TV shows, music, audiobooks, podcasts, and games, with a good range of content available under each section. There's also an air health page with articles and activities to keep you healthy in the air. Overall, the remote is quick to respond and the graphics quality is very high. The entertainment screen itself is also a touchscreen and can be controlled that way as well. Continuing our tour, there's a section where you can view the food and drink options available on tonight's flight, though the business class menu isn't shown. There's a news section with up-to-date headlines and articles, a kids content section with movies, TV shows, music, and games targeted to kids, a section with different city guides to help you prepare for your destination, and finally, a section about Air Canada's partnerships and their frequent flyer program Aeroplan. Checking out the in-flight maps next, you have 3 different options for viewing, either picture-in-picture or full-screen mode on the main screen, or full-screen mode on the remote. The quality is very good with lots of different viewing options and 3D visuals, though the map does seem a bit confused about where we started and where we're going. Another really cool feature that I love is the ability to control the map on the main screen from the remote control, which is a really neat integration feature. From the top right corner of the main screen, you can control the overhead reading light and call an attendant, and there's a settings menu where you can control the screen brightness, system volume, and window dimmer, as well as other functions like system language, screen messages, parental control, and graphics night mode. 70 minutes after departure, the first meal service of the flight was brought through the cabin. Air Canada paces their signature class meal service by bringing the appetizer on one tray with the bread and salad, and then bringing the main meal after you've finished your appetizer. The appetizer for the meal is a smoked salmon tartare, and we also have a mixed salad of kale, radicchio, and quinoa served with an olive oil and balsamic vinegar dressing. Salt and pepper shakers and a metal cutlery set were brought with the tray, as well as butter for the bread, which was not warm as advertised. The smoked salmon was actually really good, as I'm not usually a smoked salmon or tartare fan, but I was really impressed by this dish. After finishing up my appetizer, the crew brought over my selected main meal choice, which was the veal in sage and lemon sauce served over tomato pasta with peppers, squash, and leeks. This dish was quite tasty, though the pasta was a bit overcooked and the veal quite tough. Either way, it had a nice flavor and I'm happy with my choice. About 35 minutes after the tray was first served, all is cleared away, and now we await the arrival of the dessert trolley as we continue westwards into the night. On the dessert trolley this evening, we have cheesecake, fresh cut fruit, and cheese plates with crackers and apple slices. I opted for the cheesecake, which was very tasty, along with a tea. After finishing my dessert, let's put down the bedding and recline the seat to get comfortable. As you can see, in lie flat mode, the bottom portion of the seat folds upwards such that your legs extend into the nook under the entertainment screen. With all the bedding laid down, being able to lie flat is super comfortable, though it is a bit narrow and can be difficult to sleep on your side. For me, I don't plan on sleeping on this flight, so I put the seat into a semi-reclined position to get some work done. These seats are great for working, with lots of space to spread out. As mentioned earlier, there is Wi-Fi available on board this aircraft, though it is a paid service. To connect, you join the AC Wi-Fi network and a pop-up window will prompt you to open your browser. It appears, however, that the Wi-Fi still isn't working following the technical issues earlier on, so no Wi-Fi test for us today. The cabin lights are now dimmed as we're nearing the west coast, getting ready to begin our journey out over the Pacific. About 3 hours into the flight, the crew placed snack baskets up at the front of the cabin with a selection of Miss Vicky's potato chips, Lindt chocolate bars, and Kit Kats, along with water bottles. With an hour and a half to go before landing, the cabin lights are slowly coming back on as the crew prepare for the second meal service. Though the menu notes the option of chicken tangine or vegetarian paella, the options for this meal were actually leftover items from the first service, with chicken and creamy leek sauce or cheese ravioli and creamy mushroom sauce on offer. This was fine with me, as I wasn't particularly looking forward to either of the listed options for the second meal, and I opted for the ravioli as my main. This meal was served with another cold bread roll, a mixed salad similar to that offered with the first meal, and a carrot cake for dessert. The ravioli was actually very tasty, and the carrot cake is always a hit. There was another drink service with this meal as well, and I opted for a water. We're now on approach to Honolulu's Daniel K. Inouye International Airport with 15 minutes to go before landing.
Welcome to Honolulu. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and your baggage stowed until the seatbelt sign has been turned off.
After touchdown at 8:38 p.m., only 8 minutes behind schedule, we're now taxiing over to Gate D2 on the airport's Terminal 2. Next stop for me is baggage claim, with bags from my flight arriving on carousel number 18. Thanks for joining me for this trip, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now for some comments on the experience overall. Air Canada's Nonstop Toronto to Honolulu service is a convenient way for Southern Ontarians to reach the Hawaiian Islands, eliminating the need for a typical West Coast layover in Vancouver or Los Angeles. That being said, this 10-hour journey is not for the faint of heart if you're back in economy, with only complimentary drinks offered and no meal service. However, doing the trip up in signature class, as I was lucky enough to do today, or even in premium economy, is much more enjoyable, with multiple meals, more space to stretch out, and a full set of bedding provided in signature class. With the exception of the technical difficulties at the beginning of the flight, this inaugural journey went off without a hitch to kick off another successful winter season.